We are live. This is the Professionals and Animal Lovers show, and Tommy is acting as our executive producer, which gets more and more interesting week to week. Val, Professionals and Animal Lovers show. This came out of an idea that you had, you shared with me. We are live. This is the Professionals and Animal Lovers show, and Tommy is acting as our executive producer, which gets more and more interesting week to week. Val, Professionals and Animal Lovers show. This came out of an idea that you had, you shared with me.
She started her whole life change. We'll let you tell the story, but she started Black Sheep Retreat Sanctuary in Mexico, and we're going to get into how this former Rhode Islander did that. What on earth happened?
There's animals everywhere. Mandy, hello. How are you?
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me on and giving rescues a platform. I'm so grateful for that. So yeah, how I ended up in Mexico, to make like a really long story short, I'll try to keep it in time. But I came here temporarily as a scuba dive instructor. And actually my one rule while here, because of all the street dogs that I see, no chance, the camera hug, sorry. All the street dogs I see, my one rule was actually to not adopt any animals. Because I wanted to finish traveling after. But we had a report of a lamb who needed rescue, and somebody who was kind of leading it had told us that she checked with a sanctuary and said that we had somewhere to go. But when we got there, it turned out it was more of a working dairy farm, and moms and babies were separated, and it was just not a sanctuary. And so I took him back, and unfortunately I was given some really not good options between giving him to somebody who owns carnitas, which are basically butcher shops, or giving him to a petting zoo. So in good faith, I can never rescue an animal from, he's a big camera hog. I can never rescue an animal from a situation of exploitation and then put them back, or exploitation or death and then put them back. So
okay, so hold on a second. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to really hammer this point home, because I'm not sure how many people know that why petting zoos would be a situation that you wouldn't support or find ideal. You know, a lot of people bring their children to petting zoos because they think that the animals are, you know, treated well, and it gives the kids a chance to learn about animals. So can we speak to that for a second?
yeah, that's a really good point that I didn't bring up. So in general, petting zoos are not great because it's always exploiting animals, and you'll notice that they usually keep baby animals in there. So what happens to those animals when they grow up is not a nice story, something that the children there would not appreciate. As well as just animals are in high stress, they're being moved around, they're in high stress, new environments, new people coming at them. It's just something that's exploiting them. It's not for them. It's for money, it's for dollars. So anytime that you're really paying for entertainment from an animal, there's usually some bad ethical decisions behind that. And this actually, the option where I had to take them was actually, I would say, even worse than a normal petting zoo, because it was in the middle of a resort. So there was thousands of people walking around. They had no shelter to hide, and there were tickets on feeding them. So it was it was a really tiny space with like 20 animals in a tiny space. So it was just not a good option. But I wouldn't support any zoos or petting zoos in general, because you will find animal exploitation. As long as you're looking, where I would say to meet animals for parents to bring their animals is sanctuaries usually have tours, and they do ask for donations for the tours because sanctuary work is extremely expensive. But you will notice that they do not ever force an interaction, and that's very important. So the animals always are coming first, but it's also important for people to see these rescued animals and see how they live in their natural habitat. So to build a connection between what's usually on people's plates and the animal and sentient being who they are.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask something, because again, I feel like you know, a lot of this stuff I always share when we open the show. I didn't this afternoon, but that we're here to do three things: learn, educate, and advocate. And we're constantly learning. And while the petting zoo seems like an obvious one, the less obvious one for me, Mandy and Valerie, is the zoo.
Mhm.
Like and I say that because, yeah, these animals are not in their natural habitat. They are captive at some extent, but I mean, I think some of the animals are allowed to roam, and even the way I said that, allowed to. But I would have not thought that the zoo would have been such a negative experience compared to, certainly a sanctuary, obviously, but
It used to be my favorite place to go. Okay, my dad would take me there as a kid, the Bronx Zoo, right? And it was like jump for joy. Oh my God, we're finally going back to the zoo because you get to see all the animals, and there certainly is an educational component about, like, where they live or what their habits are. It didn't strike a chord with me until I was probably in my 20s, and I actually went there at the time with a boyfriend. And I just remember it was summer and I was standing outside. There's the polar bear exhibit. Okay, the
Yeah.
polar bear. And I remember seeing this polar bear, and he would just go swim to the ledge, get out, jump back in the water, swim back to the ledge. And it was such a relatively small, like, pool and area for him.
Mm.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, this poor thing is bored out of its freaking mind.
Yeah.
And this is like the behavior of something or someone who's going nuts.
So it kind of was like I think what you're saying is it had its own, like, mental health issues by being a captive like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and not certainly that, well, maybe it is similar. I mean, we've heard how when human beings are incarcerated and left to their, in solitary confinement,
Mhm.
where else do they go but batty? Where else do they go but crazy? Because I mean, similar but different, even just in the past few years of the pandemic, when many of us were shut away in our homes, away from other people, it's like, I certainly, I don't know about some of the people listening, but I missed being with people. Val, I
Yeah.
mean, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Zoom doesn't really cut it, but also, I mean, if you just think about it though, like the natural climate and environment for a polar bear is like the Arctic.
Right.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
and you're in
So
the
I'm
Bronx.
standing there in the Bronx too. It's like 85 degrees outside, and I'm watching this poor thing just like go insane. And I was like, there's something wrong about this. But it doesn't hit you when you're learning as a kid, or even a lot of parents, they're like, oh, what do we want to do? Let's take them to the zoo.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm sorry, Mandy. Okay, so now you're at the point where you realize you don't like your options. You're not gonna let this beautiful sheep go to potentially slaughter. Obviously, you're not going to let it go to a petting zoo. So now what do we do?
So the other activists said if I didn't want those options, and they would wash their hands clean of responsibility. So again, not wanting him to go to slaughter, I said, okay, I'll take responsibility. And I called the US government and saw asked what I would have to do. Sorry, he's grabbing the phone. He's very, very camera friendly.
Wait, so that's Noche right there?
This is Noche.
It-
Yep, he's the one who
He's the one who started it all?
started it all. Yeah, he's responsible for a sanctuary.
He's
Oh.
the petrepreneur. No.
Yeah. So yes, I had asked about getting a sheep in, and it couldn't be done. So that was the start of building a sanctuary for them.
All right, hold on.
Okay, all right. Okay.
You got it. You take it.
Let me just start with this. I'm picturing you, okay, you're on a scuba diving trip. You're going to get an additional certification. So you were already a scuba diver, right?
I was an instructor here.
Wow. Okay. So you were already an instructor. Okay. But like I'm
teaching.
picturing, so if you're on a trip, right? I'm assuming you had some kind of like accommodations, you had a place to stay. I don't know if it was a hotel or whatever.
I was temporarily living here as an instructor.
Okay. Because I'm just picturing someone on vacation, all of a sudden, like, all right, well, I've got this sheep now.
Yeah, like 5 nights, 4 days, and then all of a sudden I got a sheep.
Right. Well, okay, so that makes it, I can see that makes it like a little bit easier, but then, okay, so now you get a not a rejection, but you're told by the US government that basically you're not allowed to come back with a sheep, right? They have all that agriculture law, right?
I should add in there, before the options of the carnita, the person with the carnitas or the petting zoo, we did call every sanctuary in the country. But there was at the time only 7 sanctuaries, and nobody had
Wow.
space. So
Really?
so that's when the other options were presented. And that's when the sanctuary started. So I did call the US government and checked online, and they said that there is no way to import a sheep.
Hmm.
So of course I did, double check with sanctuaries and see if there was anybody else who wanted to take a sheep, because again, it was just a temporary living situation. I did want to return to the US and travel. Van life was my idea. I wanted to be a van life person.
You did?
Um,
Oh, now, so that is the coolest, that is like the coolest thing right now. Like, how many years, like, was it already cool when you were thinking about it?
it was about 5 years ago. So it was it was
Up and
uh,
coming.
I would say like 3 years ago that I really wanted to. Yeah, it was about 3 years ago, and yeah, it was up and coming. Actually, I had stayed with some activist friends in her RV and vans after some events and everything. So, yeah, I was really liking that idea and hoping to do that.
I want to do that too. I just to cut in here for a second because I want to do it too. But having 4 children and a wife makes it really less. It's probably almost like having a bunch of sheep in a foreign country. It's probably just as difficult. I would think you should live in a
I
van.
would think it might be easier to travel with your children because they're not barred from borders or any
Yeah.
laws.
You don't know these children, Mandy. You don't know. You haven't met them yet.
So, okay, I have to just, I apologize. I'm such a logistical person though. So it's like, okay, so at the time though, you were still living in the US. Were you in Rhode Island?
No, at the time, I was very back and forth. I was here because I did have a scuba dive job. But I was really getting heavy into activism in the States because I was doing more frontline activism that direct action that I would get deported for if I did here.
Right. We
so-
just learned about that group last week or 2 weeks ago from Bonnie Clapper, actually. But so I guess what my question is, yeah. So my question is like, I mean, did you have a house or an apartment or something in the States somewhere? And like, how did you go about finding, okay, I'm going to start a sanctuary. A, where do you start a sanctuary? Like B, is it, you've got to lease the land or I don't know what, is it zoned? And then C, you've got to basically move, right? You got to take all of your stuff from wherever and put it, like you have to live somewhere, right?
Yes. So I was in a small apartment, and actually Noche spent a good 6 months with me in my apartment, and we would go out on walks, me and my 2 pugs at that time.
I love it.
And we actually ended up having it wasn't a smooth transition into a sanctuary. We had to move multiple times, and I had to build multiple structures for them. So we moved land probably 3 to 4 times I had to move. And I was renting a space in one place, and then kind of partnered up with somebody in another, but it didn't work out. And then we actually had only 4 weeks to find a new place, to find and get a new place. And we found this was actually the cheapest land and cheapest house that we could find, but it's definitely the most peaceful, where we have 7 acres out in the jungle. We are out in the jungle. So there's
Wow.
not many people around. We don't even have an address. We can't even get mail. So we're, to give you like an idea.
Oh, that was going to be one of my questions. Like, does Amazon get to you?
It does not. So
I could understand the mail, but Amazon can't even find it. That's
Amazon Mexico is quite as developed as Amazon States. I never see Amazon trucks driving around. So you get your Amazon pack, as far as I'm concerned. But I haven't ordered it. I don't really get Amazon. So, but I've never seen an Amazon truck here.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. You know what? They probably could come and visit you if they weren't at my house like 7 times a day. So if they weren't making all those trips over here, maybe they could get. I just want to reset a little bit because we have new folks that are checking in at this point in the show, and I just want to kind of reset. So this is the Professionals and Animal Lovers Show. I'm Tommy D. That's Valerie. I just made that one up. Look, Mandy is with us. Black Sheep Retreat Sanctuary in Mexico. Val, that's how you say it in Spanish. Mexico.
Yes, I've heard that before.
So
which leads me to another question. Is Mandy bilingual?
I don't know.
Oh, so yes. So Spanish is another difficulty. I have been practicing, but I wouldn't say that I'm fluent where life is easy for me to speak Spanish.
Right. I
I
mean,
actually, yeah, another long but short. I actually grew up with epilepsy that affected the language and music center of my brain.
wow.
So I even had to take English speech classes. So while I can learn Spanish, it's a little bit slower. So I can get around. I'm just not, I couldn't have an interview like this.
Right.
Right.
That works
No,
out
but
well. None of us can speak Spanish either, so that's perfect for this interview.
I give you a lot of credit for like just submersing yourself. I mean, that's the best way to learn anyway, right? But so I'm just so curious, like I apologize. This is just how my mind works. I just come up like I have a million questions going on here, but what I'm thinking right now is, can you so like walk us through a day in the life of Mandy Vara? Like what is that like? What time are you waking up? Who's getting fed first? Who's getting fed what? What happens if someone has to go to the vet? Like I have so many questions. Oh my God.
Yeah, it can get crazy. But we wake up, we try to go sunrise to sunset. So we wake up around, I mean, I'm up at like 4 or 5. I don't sleep very well, but we have indoor dogs, and then we do start the chores at sunrise. So that kind of depends on the hello Noche. This is Noche. He
Noche.
hog.
Yay, Noche.
Valerie, say hola noche.
Hola, Noche. Oh my God. This guy changed not only her life, but he changed. Look at all the other lives that
Yeah,
are.
who's that one? Who's that one?
Yeah.
This is Sky. She was actually rescued because Noche needed a friend.
Oh my God.
Although we were very happy to rescue her, but we definitely needed a friend. So she was rescued from a local slaughterhouse.
Oh my God. Wow.
Wow.
It's like a pardon from the governor. That's incredible, you know? It's like, wow.
Yes. So sorry. So your question. So then we come out and as I had mentioned, we have a few different houses along the property. So we'll go, I have a pig and an aviary, or sorry, 2 pigs in an aviary in another area, and they're closer to the house. So we start there, feed them, give them everything, and then come up here. We have more chickens and sheep and pig and an iguana. He's one of the silent stars, our iguana Fernando. And then we usually finish chores, morning chores around 10 o'clock. And they also every day they get a chopped up salad. They get a lunch veggies, I call them. So around 11 they get that at noon. So between 10 and 11 we take the dogs for a walk, and whatever has to be done, clean up the house, all of that. And then 11 we start cutting veggies. 12 we do lunch, and then that's between lunch and dinner is my social media, vet, errands, all of that time.
Wow.
Which
So like what's the run rate here? I mean, well, first of all, let me time out. Let me go backwards for 1 second. How long have you been established?
2.5 years, I think it is.
Okay, so that's pretty recently for all of this to start, take off, and now this is the daily life, right? So 2.5 years. Wow. And it started off with 1 black sheep, and now how many animals? Okay.
We have around 23 animals.
Oh my God.
And we did start Black Sheep Retreat established about 2.5 years ago. Noche was rescued about 3.5 years ago.
Okay, right. So he was your roommate for a while, bouncing around till you found the right spot.
Yes, and then we went to different land, and then we ended up here. And then one of the lands that I was on, we had a huge wildfire, and so then took them to another land. So this would be the 4th place that we've ended, not including my apartment. Yeah.
Okay, so financially, if you don't mind, like what does this cost? Like what's your average daily, expense rate, or like what's your run rate? Like how much does it cost to feed all these animals and take care of them?
Yeah, it's a good question, because animal care is far more expensive, or sanctuary animal care is far, far more expensive than I think most people realize.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse you. Oh, we have a little going on.
Is that a tummy ache?
No, that was a little ball. Noche is actually the peacekeeper. So if they start headbutting too rowdy, he'll break them.
Aw.
Oh, I see this. Look, Val, they're pushing each other.
Yeah, they're wrestling.
They're little headbutting. Those are sisters.
No wonder.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's hard to say like a daily, because I mean, for 1 bale of hay it's $10 for 1 bale of hay. They also get their daily vegetables. We probably spend about at least 400 a month on vegetables, probably about the same on hay at least. And then there's so many things like maintaining the footing, which I have to do constantly. Maintaining the electrical work. I was gonna say we recently had electrical area catch on fire, so we had to redo all that, which was another $1,000.
Oh my God, so scary.
So it's
Luckily, we've been here for fire. I know we've had bad luck, but luckily I was able to carry all the sheep out when we had the wildfire. And with this fire, I was here. I put it out right away.
Oh,
it's a
my God.
nonprofit, Mandy. It's a nonprofit organization.
We're
So
a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Thanks to Bonnie Clapper.
shout out
She's
to
on
Bonnie.
the and she was able to get all that paperwork smoothly.
If somebody wants to support to Valerie's questions there around, costs and things like that, if somebody wants to make a donation right at the website, is that the best way to do it?
Yeah, and our Facebook also has a tagged post. We have all of the donation options there. We have Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Facebook, GoFundMe, Facebook fundraiser. And if you like Black Sheep Retreat Sanctuary on Facebook, you'll be updated of all of our current fundraisers. Right now, we're doing a fundraiser and we're about $1,000 short because we had a dog dumped at a property. And she has found a new home in Massachusetts, and we're going to bring her in 2 days, actually. So I'm super excited for her. She's so sweet, but it does take a lot to rehab, medical, and then to fly a dog to the States. So that's our current fundraiser.
Wow, that's fantastic. Nothing closer than Massachusetts, huh? That's one heck of a transport. No, but I'm only kidding.
Found her perfect home. So
that is, yeah.
As long as they end up where they should be, I'm happy to make it.
I know. Sometimes it's not convenient, but it's totally worth it. All right. So again, my mind is just going to blow up and explode any second. Can we also just talk about, like, you say we a lot, like, do you have volunteers? Do you have staff? Like, who's helping you? You can't do this all by yourself, right?
So I do say we a lot, even when I'm 100% alone, because alone on the property, because I do feel like I couldn't do this alone without financial support. I just couldn't without Bonnie's support, helping with the paperwork and everything that she does. She does more than just the 501c3. She's very helpful. Yeah. And I do feel like it's a community. I mean, I do have people's support following me and everything. So I do feel like it's a community project. And for the first year and a half, so we established kind of right before COVID. And so for the first year and a half, I was actually completely alone. I don't have friends or family in the country. So I was 100% alone, and a little, not exactly how long ago, but my mom has actually moved down with me now. So now it's me and my mom.
Oh my goodness, that's so great. That is so wonderful.
Are you or the sanctuary on Instagram? Because I was looking at my phone, because I think you say followers. I would think on Insta, this is like a home run, right?
Home run.
We actually do better on Facebook, but we are on Instagram. We have more followers on Facebook, but we are on Instagram. And that's honestly probably, I'm better with Facebook than I am with Instagram. Although I will say Facebook keeps blocking me from posting because I'm in Mexico. It's another challenge that we face. They want me to be in the US. So when it reads on my phone, I'm in Mexico, they take away my right to post on the page. So if you see I haven't posted in a while, I'm just blocked.
All right. So Facebook is it. Actually, Mick Collins shared Black Sheep Retreat Sanctuary on Facebook on the feed.
Thanks, Mick.
Thanks, Mick.
Thank you so much. And we're also on Instagram. Our handle is just got underscores in between. So black_sheep_retreat_sanctuary.
Well, let's talk about that next. I am super interested. You are opening up a B&B and on your property, which I would love to find out more. Like, so I think you said it has a studio as well as like a 1-bedroom, and I'm assuming it includes some experiences, maybe feeding the animals or helping out, doing some chores.
Yes. So this is another challenge that we face. Actually, I did have a partner, a life partner going into this. So I thought that we would be able to buy the land together and all that. He was Mexican. But unfortunately, about 3 weeks after I moved in, I just never saw him again. So I've been
One
on
of those.
yeah, so I've been on about a 2-year campaign to as a foreigner, I can't get a mortgage or anything. So I've been on I have to pay everything in cash. So I've been in like a 2-year campaign to actually buy the property because it's had to be all fundraising and finding ways to get loans. So we are still a little bit short with that. And as soon as we get that extra money, the B&B will officially open.
Wow.
But we do have a studio and a 1-bedroom, kind of more luxury. So we have 2 options. And what comes with that is a tour of the property. Because I do find a lot of people, I mean, it's a lot of work sometimes to actually train volunteers. And a lot of people prefer to just come and meet the animals and take pictures. So I find that tends to go better. I have had some guests, and some of them have ended up doing volunteering and helping me with chores. But I do like to offer to just come and kind of calmly meet everybody. Whoever wants to interact can interact. No, Jay, you're gonna break that up?
Mandy, how big is the property again?
7 acres.
So there's a ton of property, and it's like you said, it's jungle behind where you guys kind of like live and hang out.
Yep, we're in the middle of the jungle. So I mean, all around their field is all jungle.
Not to be silly, but oh wow, look at that. You know, it's funny that you even have a good Wi-Fi. And sometimes I think you said earlier, it's kind of choppy sometimes with Wi-Fi, but I would think this is a place to go and just like be, right?
Yeah, I had to install Wi-Fi for interviews and stuff here. I had to install a whole internet tower. Me and my neighbors went half. And then we had to get extensions from my house. So every house, so that's why the other house doesn't have Wi-Fi, because it's additional like $300 to $400 to get it all set up.
Right.
Wow.
So yeah.
Are you considering like a capital campaign to raise the rest of the money to buy the land? And if you don't have to share if you don't want to, but you know, if you are asking right now and looking for donations, you know, maybe you want to share how short you are of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've tried almost everything I can. We've written to everybody we could write to. We've done as many interviews as possible throughout the couple years. So I'm at I kind of have to check up, but we also went through a difficult time with that. I can tell you that nothing in my life is easy. I can tell you that. Everything is difficult as it could possibly, like anything that could go the extra difficulty, it does.
You're still smiling though the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to keep going because their lives are more important. So yeah, so we were good. We had one donor we started with one donor who was going to lend us 100,000. But unfortunately, through the time it's taken to raise the rest and to get the paperwork to buy this land ready, that went down. He was no longer able to give that, and it went down to a $25,000 donation.
Oh, wow.
We also had another who was 85,000, and unfortunately, that was unable to come through as well when we needed it. So we are still at least $50,000 behind.
Okay. All right. I mean, like that's a big number, but relatively speaking, it's not a tremendous number. So it's all, you know, if there's somebody out there that could swing that, you know, that could, you know,
or multiple somebody's, maybe 5 people with 10,000 or something like that.
It's doable. Yeah. It's very, very doable. And, you know, I just want to say, I mean, for anyone who's watching, I'm sure that you can see it too in the background, but like, it is so obvious that Noche loves you. Like he knows that you rescued him, and in turn, I guess he rescued you too, right? Because he turned your life upside down, and here we are.
He did turn my life upside down for sure.
And if I had a nickel for every time I met someone who changed their life because they were rescuing a baby lamb, I mean, I'd have a nickel.
You'd have a nickel.
I think so. As you say, I think I'm in a pretty unique situation, I would say. I think many other people are in this situation.
I love it so much. So just to be clear on the B&B thing, so it's not really, is it open for business or not yet?
I would say not 100% yet. I do have some activists who I know who I've come to stay, kind of to try it out and kind of work out the kinks, but I do hope in the next few months it'll be 100% open.
Okay, I just want to let you know, I make a wicked salad. So if I'm there, I might not be able to like, I get what you're saying. There's no forced interaction. And believe me, if you let me in that pen, I'm going to try to roll around with the pigs in the mud. So we won't do that. But I will
Well,
make
luckily enough,
great
our
salad.
most of the animals do love human interaction. So there's
Oh.
nothing forced, but like Noche sees human hands and he comes running because he knows they're to pet.
Oh my God. Oh
He'll
my
come
God.
on and he'll turn around and show his butt because he really likes his butt pet. So he's not turning.
I mean, Mandy, doesn't everybody? I mean, let's be honest, right? Don't we all? Can you do me a favor? Can we go on a road trip? Can we go see? I forgot it already. Can we go see the iguana?
Yes, and he actually loves human interaction. When I rescued him, I was like, oh, he's gonna be super easy. Like he won't need any attention. He's an iguana.
Yeah.
He needs more attention than the rest of them at night. He won't eat until he gets about 10 minutes of his pets.
Oh my
And
God.
I did want to add in with the B&B, when you said salad, I did want to mention that I'm also a vegan cook. So we also have a full plant-based menu on with the B&B as well.
Oh, so you cook. That's amazing.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep. So we have that. And we also offer, I was talking about volunteering. We do offer things like animal care classes. So if you want to learn like how to take care of chickens, maybe you want to start getting chickens, then we do offer things like that. We offer beach trips where we'll pack a lunch for you and provide like the umbrellas and stuff like that and give you transportation. So
I got an idea for you. While you're looking for, what's the iguana's name again?
this is Fernando.
Oh, all right. So I got a question or an idea. These classes you're doing, are you doing any of that of everything with the influencers, man, with the Instagram or YouTube or whatever, just teaching people how to care for their chickens virtually, even if they don't make it to Mexico, but I think you could get a subscription, look, this, the world the way it is right now. If somebody's cool and they're teaching somebody, people willing to pay for it. Have you thought about that?
That is a really good idea. I do have to get more on top of social media things. I feel like I need a little bit more help on the sanctuary before I can jump into that because I'm just so busy all the time. And just when I say I'm doing social media, it's always sanctuary work, answering messages, writing grants, anything like that. So, but that is definitely a good idea to do more virtual classes, things like that.
I keep seeing things on Instagram where now people want me to pay them $5 to subscribe. I don't know what I'm subscribed. I don't pay them, but I just
people will do it when if they love the cause and it speaks to them, they would totally do it. I would totally do it. And it is a great idea, Tommy, and that's what I love about Tommy.
Oh my God. Look at
brainstorms about how to try to help make you money. Is he headbanging? What's he doing?
So that's actually an iguana sign of greeting or courting you. So that's that little.
So we should do it back. Hi.
Yeah, how you doing, handsome?
Hi.
Get over here, you. Oh my God, I'll shake my head too.
Oh my God, I just made such a fool out of myself. He is so cute. I love him. Is he named after the ABBA song?
No, he's not. He's named, actually, he's right away from the light. But he got his name because I try to actually keep a whole, we have Sky, Nube, which is cloud, Cumulo, which is a cumulus cloud, and Noche, which is night. My chickens are all named after different stones. We have opals, pebbles, rocky, jade, amber. So I try to keep a kind of nature theme. So I thought fern goes really well with ferns.
You should name one after, see this, I keep this on my desk. It's a tiger's eye. I mean, it's not really an eye of a tiger, but I like this one. You should name it that.
That's pretty. Yeah, tiger eye.
Yeah.
That's a long name.
No,
strong.
I know.
Call it Tigger. We could call it Tigger.
That's cute. Wait, so this guy that we're looking at, he's 5.5 feet long, you said?
I would say he's about 5'5". He's 12 pounds.
Wow.
And yeah, he got his name. I had names, of course, excuse me, he doesn't want to be pet right now. He tells me when he doesn't. So sorry. I had some dinosaurs names picked out because he looks like a little dinosaur. But we ended up going with Fernando, and yeah, he is 12 pounds, so he's a big guy. He's definitely bigger than people, I think, realize when you see him in person.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying to you before we got started, before we went live, Elliot is a Komodo dragon that Valerie has, right? A Komodo dragon?
No, I keep telling you he's not a Komodo. No one has a Komodo dragon.
But
Elliot is my bearded dragon. He is completely adorable and just kind of lazy. He does nothing, right? He does nothing like all day. But you know what I would love if you could tell the story of Fernando and where you rescued him from, because I think that's so important for people to also learn about, you know, like we were talking about the exploitation of animals, right?
Absolutely. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, so Fernando came, actually, I got him through my vet. My vet works with me and really likes the level of care here. So he'll text me when he needs a home for an animal. And he was rescued from the tourist industry. So in any tourist area, you'll probably see either a monkey on chains or parrots on chains, anything like that, or an iguana on chains. And that's so that tourists can pay to take a picture with the animal. So Fernando had actually had his beautiful nails. It's kind of hard to see maybe, but he's got these nice long nails that have grown back because they were cut off so that he wouldn't hurt the tourists during the photos. His whole face was black up to about here with infection. He was dying. He was malnourished. He was actually like 4.8 pounds and he's now 12 pounds.
Wow.
So he was in bad shape, and he was really just a piece of property somebody exploited. That's how he was looked at. He was there to make money, to sit on people's shoulders and take pictures. But now he's got this indoor space, which he's got his pool here. It's hard to see because of the lighting, but then he can also go outside. He's got his whole outdoor area to bask in the sun through the day. So
this area actually leads me to, I'm sorry, Tommy, go ahead. Go.
I really want to know, like, thanks, Val. I just want to know, like, how many, like, with all that property and with all these animals that need a home, like, how much opportunity is there for you? Meaning people saying, hey, Mandy, we could use your help with this animal, that animal. And are you at, or when do you hit capacity where you're like, dude, I can't handle any more whatevers?
yes, so really capacity isn't so much by land space as much as it is by financial by donation. So right now we are at capacity because we're not hitting the donations that we need to be hitting. And it's been a tough time for everybody. I know it's been such a difficult time. So we're at capacity until we gain
All right,
more.
I got another idea, and I'm gonna just say it. Adopt Fernando, but not like adopt him like he's not coming to Long Island. I don't have a spot for him, but like people can adopt him, and then like once a day.
Adoption.
What? Yeah, like what'd you say?
Online adoption.
Yeah, like
so
online virtual. Like he's like my like iguana, right? For like January, right? Or maybe he's like my iguana for over.
You don't even have to do it like that. I mean, speaking as someone who adopted a manatee last year,
there's precedent for this, huh?
There's some precedent, yeah. So I could tell you that I adopted Brutus, right? The manatee from, one of the manatees from Save the Manatee, whatever. And basically, Mandy, it's like you list all of your animals with like their pictures and their backstory and all of that. And you set an adoption fee. I believe mine was $35. And I also adopted one on behalf of my sister-in-law. I shouldn't say it's really my cousin, but my cousin's like my brother, so it's his wife, and I love her, whatever. So my sister-in-law, and they send you a picture of the actual manatee that you adopted, again with their story, gives you like a little adoption certificate. And I think I bumped it up, so instead of $35, maybe it was 50, and I got like a manatee calendar. But you don't have to go too crazy in the beginning, but I love the idea, Tommy.
Yeah, I know. And then, how about this, Mandy? One more. Ready? So like, let's say I adopt Fernando and whatever, you get $35 a month out of me like Val's doing. And then you make a hoodie with Fernando on it. And then I would love that hoodie. And again, like I'm trying to be like a marketeer, right? Like that. How do we do that? How do we elevate? And then when I get to visit, when I'm coming down to Mexico one time, I get
Too
to.
hot for a hoodie, but yeah.
Yeah, so I've actually already talked to somebody who will be setting that up on our website
Yay.
for the animal adoption. So I
Oh,
just have to make the payment because
So it's already happening?
it's in the works. I really just have to make the payment. We're just trying. I've just been trying to get this dog to the States because it's such an expensive process.
right.
And then I'll make the payment and she'll set it up on my on our website. So you'll be able to go to blacksheepretreatsanctuary.com and adopt an animal.
Good job, Tommy DeMisa.
I don't know if I came up with that. Is that expensive for, like, how much money is it going to cost you to do that? I don't, again, I just want to know. I pretend like I'm just on a phone call.
I have somebody who's working with us as a nonprofit, so they're not charging quite as much. So it's only it's a little bit over $200 right now.
Okay,
That's fantastic.
let's talk offline.
Also, I just wanted to mention this. I wrote it down because just trying to think of maybe a couple of ways that we can help. But so your Facebook challenges, right, with social media, I don't know if this is feasible for you. I would say you really want to make sure it's with someone you trust. But if you have a relationship, a friendship, a family member, whatever, with someone in the States, maybe they can, log in on behalf of the sanctuary and then put posts up and fundraisers up and all of that so that you don't get like thrown into Facebook jail.
Hey, Mandy, I actually have somebody who might be willing to do it. I think she just volunteered to do it right here live. On Facebook.
Oh, I do have somebody who I talked to about doing this. What happened was last time it happened, I thought that I would outsmart them by creating a backup account and adding myself as the next admin on my backup account, but of course they didn't count, so I didn't get that.
It's hard to outsmart big tech.
Yeah. So I do have somebody now, but I have to wait until I'm allowed back in order to add them as an admin.
I gotta shout out my buddy Mick, because this is what the power of actually doing this show live and having people check in. Mick says, equate donation amounts to the animals. For example, $100 feeds Fernando for 2 months. And then he says in parentheses, no idea how much Fernando eats. Mick, neither do I. Oh my God, there's chickens on the screen. Sorry, Mick, we'll be back with you. There's chickens. Tell me, oh my God, who's that?
Oh, they're cute.
Yeah, so I thought I'd take a walk before it got too dark. I mean, it's getting dark outside, but I thought I'd take a walk over to the coop. Everybody's putting themselves to bed.
Good night, chickens.
But we have our broiler chickens over here. And over here we have our reds.
I had a red.
Okay.
I had a Rhode Island red, and I had one white chicken. You called it a broiler chicken?
Yeah, they're called broiler chickens, peepers, Cornish cross. So it's terrible. Actually, the word, broiler chicken comes from the meat industry.
Yeah.
And same peepers, they call them peepers. Actually, the slaughterhouse workers, farm workers call them peepers because they're still chirping and peeping when they're slaughtered.
Oh
God.
If you didn't want to go vegan yet, gang, this is it. This is freaking torture. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So I want to change the name of those. I don't want to call them broilers anymore. Not that I have the authority.
They're also Cornish cross.
Yeah.
That's prettier.
I like that better. It doesn't sound like terrible.
What are these are the ones that are named after stones?
Yeah, all the chickens. So we have, I also have some Jasper and some other birds at another aviary. But these chickens are ones who get along together. So
and you're inside their lack of a better term, coop. I mean, this is huge.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is their nighttime coop, and then it's hard.
Oh, they have a daytime coop. Wow.
We have a completely fenced in. It might be hard to see. Let me see. Yeah, not too bad. So we have a completely fenced in coop for them to get around.
Are you worried about predators? I mean, what kind of predators are out there in the jungle?
I am worried about predators, which is why building is so expensive, because we are completely predator proof.
Ooh.
So, we have, foxes. Technically, we're supposed to have jaguars, but I think in this area, we've never seen them. But technically they exist, so I feel predator proof for them.
Wow. What do you have to do to predator? Like, how are you keeping a jaguar out?
Making sure, at nighttime, everybody goes inside their house, which is big. And during the day, they're not hunting. It's really at dusk. And the inside, the sheets area, the house that I was just in is fairly large. And it's, here, we'll go back. But it's covered with roofs, just everything is just secure. Everybody has, actually humans would also be another predator.
You're not
and
kidding.
Yeah.
I did have, at one point, it was actually because of something, they had an issue with my landlord. It had nothing to do with the sanctuary or anything, but I did have 4 armed men break into my house while I was
Oh my
there.
God.
Oh my God, is right.
They did mention taking the animals, so I actually chased them out off the property to make sure that they didn't take the animals.
Oh my God.
But after that, I did get these steel doors that are very, very strong, dead bolted, so nobody can take the animals. And then they're in this house through sundown to sunrise. And we have a gate.
I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on the 4 armed men thing that you chased away. So
I didn't chase them away. When they were leaving, I chased them out to make sure that they didn't take the animals, but I don't want to make it sound like they were running from me. I'm not that scary.
oh, okay. I'm like, what were you chasing them with, like a scuba flipper thing? Like,
Yeah, no, I wish I could have actually chased them away, but they weren't running from me.
right. I understand. Okay. But they
But I
left you alone and they left the animals.
It sounds cooler the way you told me.
Yeah, it would have been cooler if I had chased them out. Yeah.
I'm riveted over this. I'm just fascinated right now. Go ahead. I'm listening.
But yeah, I try to predator proof. We have cameras, we have motion sense detectors. So when anybody comes by the animal's house, I'll get alerted on my phone.
What about snakes? Are you worried about snakes?
We do have snakes. The most that I've seen is a boa constrictor who they will not attack as far as bite the animals. And any animal who is small enough to be harmed by a snake is in a completely fenced area. Lining the fence, we have concrete so that nothing can be dug up or dug under.
Mhm.
And then, yes, I have had snakes. Luckily, I had a friend here. His name's Eric, and he had taught me. One of the times the snake came, he was here, so he actually taught me how to relocate them. He was good with reptiles, so because they are fairly big. When I say I have a snake, I mean like a boa constrictor, which is like 5 feet or so.
Yeah. They're heavy.
so-
They're heavy too.
Yeah, yep. But with just a wooden stick, they're easily relocated, and they've never tried to cause harm to the animals. But they also can't get into the animal's house. We have, again, the steel gates have very small holes, so
Mhm.
so
Wow.
we really like patched up any way that they would be able to get in.
Mandy, I got another question. So
Wow.
I wasn't realizing that we're doing the show for almost an hour here and we're talking about what we're able to see. I'm realizing this show is not always going to be accompanied by a video. So all of you who are listening to this show, where can they kind of see? Is it on Facebook? Is there some video on there? I mean, obviously, if you go to our Facebook, Professionals and Animal Lovers Show, you go to our YouTube, Professionals and Animal Lovers Show, we'd ask you to subscribe and like and be our friend and all that kind of jazz. How do they do that, Mandy? If they go to your Facebook, can they see the animals that they might not be seeing right now?
Yes, so on Black Sheep Retreat Facebook, you can see them. Also, I'm Mandy Vara. You can follow my personal page as well, because when I'm blocked from posting on Black Sheep Retreat, I can still post on my personal page. So, you can follow me there. And then on Instagram, again, Instagram.com /Black Sheep Retreat Sanctuary with underscores in between. We are posting every day. There's updates every day with new videos, new stories, everything like that.
That's what I'm saying. So this is what I need you to check out. That, like, I keep seeing people ask me to pay them $4 or $2.99 a month or $4.99 a month on the Insta. I say the Insta, like the Facebook, like
Yeah.
they're but I think you should check into this because and I saw, like, I was Googling, I see you used to have a Patreon and stuff like that. So there are people that will support this. And and you might be like right there, like at the tipping point of just solving for this. And I'm not trying to put this on like it's a whole nother job for you. But when I'm thinking in terms of 50,000 short of a goal in order to buy the property, and it's like, that's like
all we need is to get 10,000 people to donate $5.
or 50 people to donate $1,000, right? Or 500.
Right. There's a few ways we could do it, but I'm like, you know what? I hardly ever do this. I'm not even sure if I have done this, but maybe I need to do this more. But I am going to say, like normally towards the end of the show, I talk about how people can support us, but truth be told, I would really, really love to see people support this sanctuary. And
Thank
just
you.
think about it. Oh my God, totally. And I mean, you are incredible. I don't know how you're doing everything that you're doing. I mean, like we take so many things for granted in our everyday lives, right? And I was talking about over the weekend, like, oh, let's go see a movie. And I'm just sitting here thinking, wonder when the last time Mandy actually left the premises and went to go just see a movie. You know what I mean? Like we really take so much for granted. So guess what? We didn't see a movie. And whatever that would have cost, we could look at it like that. Like, all right, I didn't go see a movie for $50 between tickets and food. Give that $50 to Mandy. I mean, who deserves it more? Seriously.
That is something that I think it's really nice that you say that, and such a nice gesture too. But I do think, because I myself was guilty of this before sanctuary owner, even though I grew up on farms, and I was telling him before the show started that I took care of 40 to 50 horses as a young child, and I still didn't understand what sanctuary owners sacrifice. There's no such thing as self-care. There's no such thing as a day off, because even if I try to get a day off, my phone is ding, 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 ding. It's buzzing constantly.
Right.
There's anxiety of maybe I'm not there, and that's the day that a fire breaks out or something. So like there's no time off, there's no downtime. It is a very high anxiety life. And then added to it, that I am in a foreign country, which makes things a lot more challenging because I'm not a citizen, because I don't speak the language. And in all honesty, I am very, very homesick. I do miss a lot about living in my own country. I can't do activism. I can't get a job here. So all this type of stuff. So
What specifically, aside from the fact that, they're just straight up liberty, if you will, but, and freedom, what are you missing? Like what, like you're from Rhode Island originally. So like I'm on Long Island. All right. So I would be missing a good old slice of pizza, right? Val knows not being on the island anymore. What specifically out of the New England area are you missing?
Oh, well, to be fair, I would move to Florida if I could move that. I would move to the heat. But I am missing right now. I am so missing the fall crisp. I know this is like a general, not something I can get, but that crisp fall air and the pumpkin. I really like, fall is my favorite season. So yeah.
We moved from New York to Florida, and then quickly 2 years later, I moved from Florida to South Carolina because we did miss the seasons.
Yeah.
Oh, you miss the season. Yeah, I do miss. I don't miss winter. I will make that clear. I don't miss winter at all, but I really miss fall. And then I miss things like delivery, vegan delivery, and Trader Joe's, Marshall's. I can't tell you, Marshall's is like my favorite. Marshall's.
See, now that's funny because I'm a Maxinista. So Marshalls and TJ Maxx are like cousins. So look at that. We have that.
Fashionista, isn't it?
No, Maxinista. When like TJ Maxx, Val, come on.
No, but I always think of fashionista. It doesn't matter. Whatever.
That's the joke. That's what it is. That's the thing.
We're listening to your story, Mandy. Go ahead.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, TJ Maxx too. TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Marshalls. It's like, I still go there, and but I can only take back so much. And there's things like, we can't get vegan dog food, and I can't get high quality animal food here. So that's something I really miss, like, or not even miss, but wish I had. I wish I could just go to Tractor Supply store and get the food that my animals need, but or not have to fly to the US to get dog food. So things like that, I definitely miss. But yeah, Trader Joe's having specialty vegan foods.
Because
be healthy.
Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's a little frustrating in the sense of, because the first thing I'm thinking is like, wow, we could ship her whatever from the Tractor Supply store, but like, you don't have an address, right?
I don't have an address, and to get things through customs. So actually, if I did talk to my lawyers here, seeing how I could possibly ship animal food here from the US, so that I could have the exact food I wanted without going there, which I can't even do anymore, because even though they let me do it for a year, they told me now I can't bring in animal food anymore, except for dog food. But so then I went to my lawyer, tried to get it done through a broker, and it would be $1,500 US just to let 25 bags cross the border. So then I would also have to pay for shipping and for the food itself. So
Holy,
yeah,
that's a lot.
fortunately, the idea of having things sent, it sounds like it could work, but things never get past custom. They never actually get to me. And if they do get into customs, I usually would have to pay a huge fee to get them out.
It's cost prohibitive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, so
Well,
what
let me
like, we'll do is like, say if somebody's going to the US, someone will ask if they can bring something back, but normally having mailed to us from other countries doesn't work so much.
Well, we'll focus on the positives and we'll try to, really get some great eyeballs on what you're doing because it's spectacular. I don't know anyone else, forget about like you. I don't know anyone else running a sanctuary. So I'm thrilled to meet you.
Oh, thank you. That's wonderful. I'm so nice to meet you too. Oh, I'll just show you over here. We have Fern likes to sleep on this. Hi, Fern.
Hi. I love the head bashing.
Yes, the little greeting that he gives me. Hi, buddy.
Oh, that's so cute. What's the circular thing on his face? Is that his ear?
No, this is that is for basically predators and staying hidden, staying kind of in his own environment. His ear is actually, I don't know if you can see, but it's right here.
Okay.
That's how it be camouflage? Is that what that is?
Yeah, so this has no other function, yeah, other than camouflage and looks. He's got his ear right here, and he even up here on his head, right here, he has a little P.A.L gland, which is where the sun and everything comes through, really like is absorbed through his head.
Really?
Which he loves. As you can see, he enjoys being pet.
Wait, is that like the third eye? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
No kidding. Really?
Yep. So that's like
that's that's a whole nother, like, we don't have time for that tonight, but that's like a whole nother thing, Val.
I know.
Oh my God.
The anatomy of an iguana.
But it comes from, we come from reptiles, so that's like, all right, we don't have time for that, gang. Wow. That's a whole nother show. We can talk about that for an hour. Let's, I think it's time we leave it there. We kind of draw to a close. Mandy Vara, Black Sheep Retreat Sanctuary in Mexico, or as I like to say, Mexico. Then Mandy, leave us with something.
Well, one thing I totally didn't mention is we do offer private tours with lunches afterwards where you can come and meet the animals. So if you happen to be in the Cancun area, if you don't want to stay in our B&B, also just message us to see if you'd like to do a private tour. And everything, as I mentioned, the animals always come first. So interactions are never forced. But everything that we make from the B&B, from the tours, anything, all goes back into animal care. So everything is 100% nonprofit. Everything goes to the animals. And I will leave us also, since Regan decided to step into the light. Oh, no, she didn't much.
Hi, Regan.
What's up, Regan?
God.
That's our queen pig, Miss Regan.
But she identifies as a sheep, right? We talked about.
She hates pigs.
So
she hates pigs. And so when we got her, she actually has a beautiful story. I know that we're running out of time, but I'll just really quickly. Regan Russell is a fellow animal activist who was killed by an animal transport truck. And, sorry, my light. And that was pretty recently at a vigil in Canada. And we were actually, me and my friends were on a group chat. I was supposed to go to the store in the morning, but then Regan Russell's memorial service came on, so I didn't go. And I watched her memorial service, and I said to my friends in the group chat, I was like, I wish that we could rescue a pig, but I was just moving in Regan Russell's name, in her honor. I was like, but we were just moving in. My landlord would probably say no, I can't do it. And then that was the last message that was sent to the group. I left to go to the store. Within 1 minute of driving, Regan had jumped off a truck and she was running down the road as a little piglet. So
God.
Within 10 minutes of sending that message, 10 minutes later, I sent a picture with me and I got out of the car, stopped traffic. She actually let me pick her up, which she would never do now. So that was a one-time fluke.
I love that. That is an incredible story. I want to adopt Regan. I mean, it's really hard for me to choose, but I will say that story is incredible. And I also kind of like how she's a rebel. Like she's like, I don't need to be around my fellow pigs. I'm going to hang with the sheep. But I have a question. Pigs are, from what I remember, pigs are really smart, right? They're really smart animals.
Yes, she is. I mean, all of our pigs are highly intelligent.
They are.
Yes, very, very intelligent. And Regan,
Come here, Regan.
Hey,
Regan.
Regan, what are you doing over there?
Wow, I love how you talk to the animals, Tommy.
I know, because that's how they, you don't see, you guys want to, like, I know how animals want to be spoken to, like regular people. How you doing, Regan? Like that.
Oh, is she like a potbelly pig, or she's got?
She is a potbelly pig.
Oh, she's adorable. Oh my
What's
God.
up, Regan? How you doing there?
All right, I'm just letting you know, I am pledging right now. I need to adopt Regan. I'm an adopter. I need to
Sergeant.
adopt Regan. You have to let me know when that whole thing is up and
Yeah.
running. Look at that.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, she is queen. She came in here as a little piglet and she took over. She took over. Noche was king, but there's only room for one.
You know
Maybe
what?
they can get
There's a
married.
king and queen now, right? You got a king and a queen. It's all
Yeah,
good.
they can get married.
They
Well,
could.
she took go down a notch. She's far above him, but but they are best friends. I actually have some videos just of clips with them running together, playing together, eating together. So they're super sweet together, but she still is authority.
All right. Well, Mandy, I just, again, I love you. I don't know what else to say. I love you. I love what you're doing. I love the animals. And I am so grateful that there are people like you on this earth who literally give up everything as they knew it to help the animals. I mean, wow, you're one of my heroes.
I learned this during the pandemic. Virtual hug for Mandy. Do a virtual hug now. Virtual hug.
Hug and real pom-poms.
And real pom-poms. Mandy, we look forward to seeing you. Yeah, we have pom-poms here. This is how it goes. We look forward to seeing you in the flesh, in human person and animal. When we see the animals, when we come visit you, Val, we got to go to Mexico. Sign your permission.
Go to Mexico. Barry, we're going to Mexico.
Barry, Viva la Mexico! All right, so look, we're going to Mexico. We don't know when. Fill out your permission slips. Mick Collins, if you want to come with us, just text me. You come with us. People go, look, you're not far from Cancun. So people might be down there on spring break, and then we can encourage them to visit you and act like adults, not like immature, spring breakers, but come by and support the animals, right?
It could be the first PAL's field trip.
Visitors. Yeah, we've had a lot of visitors from all over the world, at least for tours. So yeah, a lot of fellow vegans and activists have come, and we would love to have you guys visit. That would be awesome.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. We're gonna go down there, Val. We're gonna imagine that when we go on the PALS trip, the first ever PALS like on the road international conference.
That would be wonderful.
Oh, it's just
about 30 minutes. We're actually a little under 30 minutes from the airport, from the Cancun airport. So it's not too bad.
It's just about manifestation. It's no big deal. It's just about, look, no big deal. No big deal. Just changing the world. Right on. All right, listen, Mandy, thanks for being our friend. Thanks for what you're doing. Val, thank you for your vision. I am going to play some music in a second, but I will leave you all with this. Before I read the quote, I'll tell you what we didn't say up front. We're trying to amplify the message through this community, through this society, that those who are supportive of the animals, animal lovers, want to work with, connect with, and support other animal lovers, whether it be in business, in philanthropy, or in advocacy. So on this show, we do three things. We learn, we educate, and we advocate. But now I leave you with what you've waited for. The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way in which its animals are treated. That's Mahatma Gandhi. Make it a great day, everybody. We'll see you soon. We're your pals. Oh, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on the YouTube. Follow us on all the Instagrams and all that stuff. Shout out to Barry Heffron for reminding me to do that. Mandy, have a great night. Val, have a great night.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great evening. Thank you for all your ideas.
Thank you. Oh my God, we love you. Bye, sheep. Bye, piggy. Bye, Fernando.
Bye, Fernando. Hasta luego, Fernando.
Adios.
He closed his eyes.
I can't. I'm dying.